حلق صقرا حرا أرعد أبرد بدد شرا حلق أنت الأقوى من نبع الشجاعة تروى إن عدو الخير تنمر فطغى وبغى أذى دمر صار الجو الصافي أحمر ناوي سدد أحرق غربانا أعداء أبرق أرعد كي تصفو هذه الأجواء حلق صقرا حرا أرعد أبرد بدد شرا حلق أنت الأقوى من نبع الشجاعة تروى إن عدو الخير تنمر فطغى وبغى أذى دمر صار الجو الصافي أحمر ناوي سدد أحرق غربانا أعداء أبرق أرعد كي تصفو هذه الأجواء حلق صقرا حرا أرعد أبرد بدد شرا حلق أنت الأقوى من نبع الشجاعة تروى إن عدو الخير تنمر فطغى وبغى أذى دمر صار الجو الصافي أحمر ناوي سدد أحرق غربانا أعداء أبرق أرعد كي تصفو هذه الأجواء
Hey everybody, welcome back to All Wings Considered. Was that not the Wing Commander content you craved low this long winter's month?
Yes, it's desperately what was needed to bridge the gap, I think. Everyone loves reading text scrolling upwards.
George Lucas proved that in 1977.
Yep, that's why everything ever that is important is done in that manner. But anyways, we're back.
Everybody, I'm Loaf, and I'm your host for All Wings Considered, the internet's only poorly constructed, roughly planned weekly Wing Commander webcast. And I'm joined, as always, by my companion-at-arms, my, let us say, wingman.
If you will. Jason Dunderdall McHale. And you should also point out, I was waiting for you to get to the part of the program you said that has made it to a second season.
Second, yes.
All the other Wing Commanders were canceled early on.
This is the totally arbitrary second season of Always Considered, and there are no differences, and nothing will change.
No, there'll be a more refined and mature dialogue and formatting stuff.
Okay.
We'll work on that.
We do have some exciting stuff ahead for you in season 2. We're looking at doing some like remote things. I found a Canberra bomber up in Baltimore that we're going to go see.
Oh.
So you can see how they made the broadsword from the movie.
We're
looking at
that.
We're looking.
That was a surprise.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I put it in the notes.
I didn't read those yet.
No, so we're gonna do an outing to Rochester, New York at one point, and we found that there's a research library there that has documents about the making of Wing Commander Prophecy and Privateer Online. So we're excited to see what those are. Mm-hmm. This is gonna be an exciting Wing Commander full year, and we're glad you're here with us.
As always.
Yes.
As always. You're correct.
But how is it's been a couple weeks. How were your holidays? Everything?
My holidays were great. I spent Christmas through New Year's in Jamaica, so I have no complaints about anything.
Yeah.
So life was good and warm and nice, and then came back here and have been falling back into the old routine.
Okay, yeah. And same here. We kept thinking, oh, this will be the week we come back. This will be the week we come back, and it just seemed like this giant impressive thing. And then we finally just like, okay, let's do an episode now. We've got an episode for you today. We are aiming to do a little bit of a shorter one, hopefully, because we all want to go watch Picard later.
Yep. We're back in that. That feels kind of natural too for how the show started. When it would be like, all right, we have to go finish because we have to go watch Discovery now. So it's kind of like a nice groove to get back into. It's like, the heavy part of the season, if you will.
But we're going to be playing Wing Commander 3. 3DO, picking up where we left off, the Torgo system and the 3DO version. What's the mine mission going to be like? What are the other two missions going to be like? We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, we've got your usual news and discussion and some chat about different ships. We'll be doing in just a moment when we get to the Afterburner slideshow.
We haven't afterburned in a long time.
Yeah, we haven't afterburned in a while.
Yep. But yeah, other than that, do we have anything else? I feel like we're forgetting something, but we're probably not.
Probably forgetting something for sure, but
anyways.
Oh, my holidays. We got my holidays. I'm also on this show.
Yeah, that's right. You said something. You said we're going to keep it short, and then yes, that's right. We got sidetracked.
Got the hell out of here. No, my holidays were great.
What did you do, my friend?
We had Christmas early because my family was
That's right.
So it ended up being this like 2 or 3 weeks of interminable Christmases over and over again. Sort of like
you had a Groundhog Day of Christmas.
Yeah, it was a complete Groundhog Day, right? At least a quarter Groundhog Day of Christmases. But it was great. My family's good. Everybody's happy. No complaints. Got to go up north to see mother-in-law, and that was always fun. And now I'm back and ready for some Wing Commander excitement. I became briefly obsessed with Micro Machines.
That's right.
So
there's a fleet next to me. I know.
Yeah, there's a lot of Micro Machines around here. You could just ignore those. I'll forget about them soon and be back to Wing Commander stuff.
I was trying to think if there's one I should pull out or something now. Let's see. It needs a moment.
Yeah, anyway, good holiday, but I'm glad to be back with everybody out there. And
speaking of holidays, is there a holiday today we have to celebrate?
There is a holiday today we have to celebrate. It is, in fact, our producer Mike's birthday.
That's correct.
So, happy birthday, Mike!
Happy birthday, Michael.
If you are a long-term member of the Wing Commander community, you probably know him as Trelane or Mr. Trelane or just those two.
Not
Crab
the
Hammer. Snappish Amoeba. But happy birthday, and I guess we'll sing you the actual birthday song is copywritten, so I guess we'll just kind of.
It's not anymore. Remember?
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No, they had that big court fight where then because what was it like 3 sisters? Oh, there's something. Wasn't it 3 sisters or something? I don't remember.
If we get sued by 3 sisters,
no, because that's what made it. That's what made it some kind. That's what made it common domain or something. I forget, but no, I think we're good. Everybody's good.
All right, well, happy.
I was at least do that first. We did not practice at all.
No. The best art comes from not birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Trelane.
Michael Trelane.
Happy birthday to you. What age are you?
I was going to say, whoa, this is not and that officially is the song of the year. We only do one song every season, and last year was a 45-minute Privateer 2 song that has a lot of spaceships. Now this year it's Happy Birthday.
Don't worry, Dunderdog. I'll get you back to your home planet in time for Life Day.
Anyways, should we have to burn into the highlights of season 2?
Look at some of our highlights. I already talked about those.
Oh,
you jumped ahead.
I jumped ahead.
It's the stuff I know. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Let's go to the Afterburner slideshow, though, and I'll just show you some images, and we'll forget about how goofy and awkward we are.
It's been a while.
Whoosh.
Not even afterburning at the same time. Spinning in circles, crashing into a rock.
Welcome to Afterburner Slideshow, the part of our show where we give you an old-fashioned PowerPoint-style slideshow about Wing Commander stuff. So
with two talking heads.
What we got? Are smaller than the other view. All right, what do we have today? Indeed. Where do we start?
I would start with what you have listed, which is that one. Not to spoil it for ever. Nope, right, that one.
Okay. Well, this is a sad one, so we should.
Well, that's why I figured.
We should be more somber and not have an exciting lead. One of the sad pieces of Wing Commander news over the break was that Syd Mead, one of the concept artists behind Wing Commander Prophecy, passed away. And we thought we would just go through some of what he did in his memory.
It's not like you died yesterday. It's been a little.
No,
while.
It's been several.
You can be a little less,
weeks. This is Syd Mead, and you probably know him from contributing to basically
everything
that you love. He did concept art for Aliens, Tron, Blade Runner, and any sort of a distinctive vision of the future. Probably had Syd Mead somewhere in the credits throughout the 80s and 90s. And, of course, there are fandoms for all of these things that are celebrating his life with the specifics of those productions. And I thought it would be good to go through the little bit that he contributed to Wing Commander.
Of course.
It's the Sulaco.
It was a very big deal, I think, when his name was announced in connection to Prophecy as well.
Yes, it was. It's Leonov from 2010. One of my favorite movies is Blade Runner, Tron. But we're here to talk about Wing Commander. And you're exactly right. It seemed like a big deal when they announced that this new Wing Commander game was going to have designs by Syd Mead. And Electronic Arts surely play that up in every press release and back of the box description and bullet point for journalists and so on. It was designs by Syd Mead, and that's kind of led to this situation where a lot of people don't quite understand what he did. What even a designer even does in that sense.
It just becomes like comprehensive. He did everything that you love. He was his brilliance.
Did he make the game? Did he draw every picture?
Yes.
No, none of those things.
He's in Cobalt 60.
Not in Cobalt 60. You laugh, but I have a Cobalt 60 related plan that's going to end up biting both of us in the ass in a couple of weeks.
Prophecy.
No, so...
Yeah.
Going back in time a little bit, there was this gulf between Wing Commander 4 and Wing Commander Prophecy where Origin had to take some time to figure things out. Chris Roberts and a bunch of the other top talent from the series had left to start Digital Anvil, and Electronic Arts was cagey about the future of the series. Like, can we do this without a Chris Roberts game on the box? And there were a lot of folks at EA who felt that they could not. So the folks who were left at Origin had to not only figure out what they were going to do with this series that did not necessarily have a Wing Commander 4 isn't a continuing story. You're going to take it in some other direction, and you have to decide what that is. So they had this extreme challenge in early 1996 of figuring out a direction for the series, how we're going to sell it, both to the world and to these EA executives who think we can't necessarily do it. And somewhere in all of that came the idea that they could have, name on the box, a celebrity artist credit. And the way that worked was they basically reached out to Syd Mead, and he was happy to take this challenge, and they paid him X dollars for X revisions of the description they sent out. And the they in this point is Mark Verrier, who was the art director on Wing Commander Prophecy. And so his job would be to first say, what do we need Syd Mead to provide? And what they settled on was three ship designs that would give them the feel for what the alien ships were going to look like.
Okay.
The artists at Origin would take those designs and expand them to create a whole fleet.
Sure. And
then 3 designs for the alien creatures that were going to replace the Kilrathi. We call them the Nephilim today. At that time, they did not have a name. But he was basically charged with coming up with the concepts for these 6 things. Mm-hmm. So when you see Syd Mead, artist on Wing Commander Prophecy, or visual futurist on Wing Commander Prophecy, it's these 6 concepts done early in the production so that they could impact all the additional work that would happen after that. So he developed the look, and then the rank and file artists, who were all sorts of spectacular artists in their own right, took that and created the game you know. So here is that process. The darker part on the left is the initial sketch that got sent to Syd Mead, and then the larger image is what he came back with, and that's of course the Manta from Wing Commander Prophecy, the kind of main alien fighter. There it is, implemented in 3D. Yeah. And here is
real pain in the ass.
These are the Mores, the light alien fighter.
That's a More. You have to do it at least once.
Oh, we're definitely going to do it like 7 more times.
That's the only one I've got right now for it.
So, and this is his final painting, by the way. One of the kind of peculiarities of this is that the folks at Origin suddenly were in production on the game and needed this work as quickly as possible. So they were entirely happy with the first revisions and went from there. But he did finish these as a couple of paintings, which are in his book, Syd Mead's Century. And this is the alien fighter painting he did.
That's weird with the, it looks like a ring. You know what I mean? Like
you
wear it?
It's not clear.
Yeah, what the hell that bottom thing is.
And there's implemented in the game.
Looking nuts.
Third ship is the Kraken Planet Killer, which would be here's the finished painting of it, which would be used to
do this trippy thing.
Yeah. And there's a crystal in there, if you believe it.
And stained glass.
And finally, probably most interesting to folks who maybe don't know the behind the scenes of Prophecy are the aliens themselves. So again, there on the left is this rough concept that was done by Prophecy's art director. And then
which one? This one or
under Ben.
One that has no black.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And so Syd Mead got to come up with sort of how the alien culture would work, and he came up with this insect-based. There's a queen, and then there's these lieutenants who are like the overseers, and then there's a warrior worker caste, and he went through and designed all of these. This is the warlord alien, which is used in the game itself. It's the one that appears at the end with Blair, and it's the only one they modeled, so it appears in all the VDUs. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the game's lore, this is supposed to be the one that flies the Devil Rays, and then the regular workers would fly all the ordinary ships.
Devil Rays.
So there it is, implemented in game. By the way, Syd Mead never saw the final game. He didn't have a PC, so he wrote in his book that he never got to see the finished product, what the aliens ended up.
Apparently, being a conceptual artist, you can't have enough money to afford a PC.
No, get a Mac.
No, I know, but I'm just saying you just couldn't have both. He's struggling artist out there, man. Struggling artists. That we can help him out.
This is the different sketches for the unseen kind of commoner
That's a weird
soldier one. Yeah, they're much more spidery.
Yeah, it's got a very strange head.
They don't have the ceremonial arm things at the top.
Okay.
So they're kind of squatted down more.
Yeah.
There he's again.
Hey.
And our slideshow seems to be broken, so we don't have any of the pictures of the Queen. But
and there it is. At 19 minutes and 43 seconds, our first bug of the season. Baby.
First slideshow break.
Which is perfectly normal
live,
because
honestly.
that always happens. Like, sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you don't. There we go. Oh,
I fixed it live.
Hey,
good job, me.
And look, in season 1,
almost
everything
like nothing happened.
would have blown up, but this time, like nothing. We can edit that out in post, except we don't do that.
So we end up with this. This is when you hear them talk about the mother creature in the taunts. This is the mother creature, and
weird.
you know her because she has like a techno crown on top.
Yeah,
that was the distinguishing thing.
It's also like that looks like a screaming lizard, though. Like, if you look back, you know what I mean? Like, it looks just like the one more. See, it's like a...
I can
like
see
an iguana
like the Jurassic Park spitting lizard.
Yeah. Without the... Or like a different type of skin flap thing, yeah. Yeah, it looks like an iguana or something. It's kind of weird with, like, big nostril thingy. What the hell that is? Creepy.
So it's cool to me that he essentially perfects a dozen or so pieces of art, and then those grow into... the look for all the aliens in the game.
Yeah, the entire environment.
Which then marketing says, oh, this is really cool. We're going to put this everywhere. It's going to be on the CD and the box and whatever. Yeah. And it's just this little seed becomes such a big concept in Wing Commander Prophecy. And it's cool how that works out. But we wanted to pay our respects. One of the greatest of all time. When I was living in Los Angeles, I got to work with a lot of world-class concept artists on some of the stuff we were doing out there, and they would often say, you know, he's not just an incredible artist, he's a great guy. He's totally into the idea of teaching new artists the craft, and that always stuck with me. So,
you know what I'm kind of curious about, because I mean, I don't think it affected my or your decision to purchase this product, but like, how many people decided to peer into Wing Commander Prophecy as a result of it having the Syd Mead label on it?
Interesting question, and certainly when I was a teenager, I thought it would be no one, but I do find going back, because I like to go back through old Usenet forums and just see, not necessarily AltDotGames.Wing Commander, but just other... how did the common person react to these games? It's something I always kind of like to look back at. And I have found people like, wow, Syd Mead, that's cool. I'm going to check this out. So it's non-zero, which surprises me.
Because when you start, I'm like, I don't think I can. Like, I didn't. It's just like, of course I'm buying. It's next Wing Commander. Like, Syd Mead. I was like, okay, that's great. I don't know who that is. Like, that doesn't really affect me at that age. Like, I didn't really understand. So yeah, it's interesting to wonder how many extra copies they sold as a direct result of that.
Hopefully they liked what they saw and then bought other. Oh wait, there were no others.
There was a true end, unfortunately.
So now I'd like to show you something that I'm really excited about and very, very happy about, which I found on eBay. And usually I wait for the stuff to arrive and show it off in the cargo hall.
You're allowed to be ridiculously excited about this. So, you're allowed to go off the normal level of charge.
I'm going to show it to you right now. I found it.
Because I can see you're already like...
Here's what I found. So this is an Italian translation of Mike Harrison's Wing Commander 1 and 2 Ultimate Strategy Guide. Maybe 5 years ago, I found a listing for this on Amazon Italy, which was just the name of the book and the ISBN. I could find no evidence anywhere online that it was ever published or released, just that at some point it got an ISBN. And if you've ever worked with ISBNs, you'll see the Privateer Online guide has one. The stuff gets scheduled and then canceled all the time. So it's never an indicator that a book actually exists, just that it may exist. So I have looked for this over the years pretty regularly. It's in what I call my Grail Diary, and I check on it over and over again. I've gone to Italian classic gamer forums, and
it took me a second to connect what that was.
Joe Garrity actually taught me that. He said any collector should have their own equivalent of the Grail Diary, and I do that. I'm like, okay, I talked to this guy about Wing Commander. It has all the stuff I still need to find.
Sorry, go on.
But I went so far as to go to Italian retro gaming communities and ask, does anybody know if this book was ever published? And nobody knew it. And then it popped up on Italian eBay a couple of nights ago. It didn't have a buy it now, but you could make an offer, so
You made him an
I
offer.
made them an offer they couldn't refuse, and then doubled it for the shipping. But it's on the way over the Atlantic now, and I can't wait, because what's going to be in there? Is there going to be different artwork? Is it going to be changed in some way? Like, if you ever look at the German version of that guy, they totally reformatted it. I mean, the cover is totally different. It's exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah. We're going to be doing a lot of Italian translations.
And speaking of Italy and Wing Commander merchandise in 2020.
Grigo says that how do you say it's secrets and lies.
Ah, interesting.
Oh, well then. Huh.
Speaking of Italy and Wing Commander, we've talked about the what is the book called? The Kickstarter, the origin history, Through the Moongate.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just made me forget it when you looked at me.
Through the Moongate Volume 2 Kickstarter, and how they had Dennis Loubet do a Wing Commander bookmark. And now they've started to show off the cloth print they're doing. They're printing this kind of like an Ultimate Cloth map, but it's a piece of artwork by another origin artist.
Okay.
And it turns out they've decided to have it be Wing Commander and Ultima. So here's the work in progress, and you can see it has the movie style Dralthi and a Kilrathi, and that's gonna be cool when it's done. And if you have backed them before, for €30, you can get one too. You just have to contact them.
Your brain's already switched back to, we're in America, man. €30?
No, it's in it's a Europe-based.
All right, I was gonna say you got to switch over the converter, man. I didn't realize we were in the metric system on this show. I have to think everything twice again.
All right, and here is one that I found just the other day that made me excited. It's going to lead to something we do on the show in the near future. This is a website called Retro Achievements that adds Xbox 360 style achievement, I guess everything style achievements, but to classic video games. So basically somebody digs up an old game and says, "Oh, I'm going to add achievements," and they use a cheat engine and they figure out, "Oh, when this changes to this, it means you've done this thing in the game," and that can. So you can basically use an emulator like RetroArch, and you have an account and you get achievements. But someone has gone through and added an incredibly impressive set of achievements for Wing Commander 3 for the PlayStation and both of the Super Nintendo games. Both of the currently available Super Nintendo games. And I just think that's so cool. Let me see if I can open this up here. Interact. We learned this last season.
Oh, okay.
So
I was wondering what you're trying to go for.
Go down and you can see they have... Yeah. These are all these like sort of introductory ones, but then they get more complex. Kill X number of aces or reach this point in the game. So I think this is an excellent reason to play Wing 1 Secret Missions and Wing 3 PlayStation again. So I'll probably do like a weekend stream where I try to clear out these achievements because that just seems really fun.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
So
wait. Do those have speech?
No. Wing 1 and Secret Mission do not have speech.
Well, I'm just making...
It's been a while.
I have to, flex back into the old Kilrathi voices. It's been a long time since we've done bad.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do some voice acting.
Yeah. Which Disney, if you're hiring, we're available.
They've got Meghan Markle. They're fine. Here's another one-off. This is something I saw on Twitter and have not been able to identify since. But
that's right. You're crazy about this.
When you search for Twitter for Wing Commander regularly, you'll find all sorts of like specific people.
Sure.
Like there's always like notifications like from the Navy, or the Air Force, like 44th Wing Commander has been reassigned to whatever base.
Yeah.
There's Indian and Pakistani Psy War because they have this Wing Commander guy that
we heard
was
of him
captured by one of them and the other one hates him and they.
If you've ever seen this show before, your arch nemesis.
But then there's people sharing the story that when you quit Wing Commander 1, it's actually a crash and they edit it to say thank you for playing Wing Commander. That gets told constantly. People remembering installing a Wing Commander game with 20 diskettes. and so on. So there's all these particular types of people. It's over and over and over again. British racists, apparently. They love to talk about Wing Commander Guy Gisborne for whatever reason.
I don't know that, but sure.
Anyway, one of the types of people is people who messages Mark Hamill to try to get him to talk to them. Because that's like all the time. There's this particular thing where people think, okay, he's not responding to all these Star Wars people, but if I tell him I know his back catalog...
If I know the deep cuts.
And that was all just to lead up to this, which is that one of those accounts posted this at Mark Hamill saying, I loved you in Wing Commander 3, and this was the picture. And I haven't seen that picture before. It's from some sort of behind the scenes of Wing Commander 3 where he's posing with the Kilrathi Guard.
I'm sorry, that's a man with just a very small head on a very large body, you jerk.
But I added the guy and I was like, oh, where'd you get that? And then no reply because he's just somebody who acts at celebrities. So somewhere out there is the source for this, and I'd be interested to know.
Interesting.
Because usually when people do that, it's from WC News. There's a particular slide gallery that people go search for Mark Hamill and Wing Commander, and they pick the first one from WC News.
Well, hey, at least we're doing that. We're helping the cause. Right?
Yes. And that may be all the stuff that I really wanted to talk about right now. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
Oh, we're gonna talk about some names.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. So,
you have a boat thing, don't you?
It's a ship thing. So first time I'm talking about it. Okay. Ooh. So earlier this week, the United States Navy named the
one of the best navies I've heard.
Yes, in the world, top one in the world. Named the next ship in the Gerald Ford class to be the USS Doris Miller, named after the first African American to receive the Navy Cross for actions at Pearl Harbor. And one of the things we started talking about is that Doris Miller is a very deserving Navy hero, but it's also unclear what convention the United States Navy is now following in naming its own ships, because the Gerald Ford class appears to be, who knows? And that led you to bring up the Bengals in Wing Commander, and we thought that before we jump into some gameplay, we would talk about how kind of strange this is.
Yes, because the Bengal carrier, the class of carrier that the Tiger's Claw is, has a very similar evolving sense to how they name them. And Jason's going to talk about, it's going to be Jason's name. You're going to tell me about the Ford class.
Well, I was going to say, even, like, so the reason this is weird is that...
Let me open your...
No, he was on the West Virginia, Georgios. He was a mess attendant, because he asked me to Arizona. But one of the reason this is odd is that, each class typically has a certain convention in its naming. You know, throughout history, like in the United States... battleships were named after states of the country. Aircraft carriers were named after battles or historic ships. Cruisers were named after cities. Destroyers were named after people. You know, destroyers are basically your like whatever you want to name. You know, you can name a destroyer type thing. And submarines get attacking animal name and so on and so forth. Where in more recent history, since the nuclear carriers came online, they either have historic ship names, or now we've switched to presidents, and then randomly one guy who was in the Senate who never served in the Navy but loved the Navy and got his own carrier, the Carl Vinson. So it's kind of strange. So the convention is
Vincent, eject.
So the convention has kind of evolved over time with the Ford. So Gerald Ford, the reason he served the United States Navy, so it kind of makes sense that, you know, he's both the president and a Navy veteran.
You want your picture?
Sure, you can put that's just the Gerald Ford itself, which it does look very It looks like a fancy futuristic Nimitz, because it is. It's a bit larger, about 40,000 tons displacement. Carries a bit more stratecraft. But so the first one is named the USS Gerald R. Ford after, you know, leadership of the class. Then it's the USS John F. Kennedy, because we used to have, you know, carrier like that. Of a super carrier class. And then there is the USS Enterprise. Named after the historic, because the United States Navy has typically almost always had a ship with that name in commission, because the nuclear enterprise was recently completely disassembled and all of that. and now we have the USS Doris Miller. So it's kind of a weird thing where you have two presidents, a historic ship name, and then Dory Miller, who, he'll receive the Navy Cross for his actions at Pearl Harbor. Well, what happens is that he is a mess attendant. During that time period, African Americans were not allowed to do anything save work in kind of the cooking part of the ship. So his battle station was a gun, but it was destroyed by a torpedo hit that impacted the USS West Virginia. So then he ends up moving around casualties and things like that, including the captain of the ship, who later dies on the bridge. And Dory will then go grab a 50 caliber machine gun and just start firing away, having never been trained on it, which is part of the reason he receives the Navy Cross, is that he just sees an empty gun position and starts firing at the Japanese until he runs out of ammunition, and they have to abandon ship because it's also starting to settle into the harbor. Yes, Dory, they always called it. But he will unfortunately die in November 1943 when the escort carrier he is on, the USS Linscomb Bay, is torpedoed by a Japanese submarine off Tarawa. But yeah, these are our new, America's new fancy carriers. Yep, 100,000 tons. So these are about 30,000 more tons displacement than the Yamato battleships. They can carry 75 plus aircraft. They have fancy, despite the president wanting good old steam power, we're actually going to use electromagnetic catapults, so they can really kind of run through sorties on these things.
How many kilometers long are they?
It is 1,106 feet. I don't know how many kilometers, but that's only a couple, about 20 feet longer than the Nimitz class. But it's has a wider, it's wider in terms of its flight deck space and things like that.
Thick, the kids today say.
Oh, that's right, thick. Yeah, it's fast. It's got these advanced weapon loading systems so that they can the whole thing is that its sortie rate is very, very high. The whole idea is it can turn over its 75 aircraft repeatedly. And really do a number on somebody. But the reason, we bring this up and why I'm wearing my aircraft carrier tie is that, the naming scheme, who knows what we're doing.
So if anything, it's made Wing Commander more accurate.
I guess, this is apparently what will be, the defense of the Secretary of the Navy of the Confederation later on when they say, what the hell did you do with this? Like, what is this list here? Like, why is this list like this? These make no sense.
So that, I thought I would walk us through the naming history of the Bengal carrier.
Which also is just... I think it's even crazier. Because I should also put, like, Dory Miller, he's also an enlisted man. So it's very interesting to see him have such a large capital ship named after him. It's a very interesting break in the convention, which... Leaving it to you now. So multiple ones.
I'll start by giving you the names, and you guys can think about them in your head. And then what I'm going to do is go through them in the order they were added to the fiction. So now it's interesting to see. We can look back and figure out why people were thinking these ways.
Despite the fact that it looks like...
Despite the fact that it is a car crash in every direction.
Yes.
There were the best of intentions.
It's like a yard sale where all the books are flipped open and they just grabbed a word randomly from each one.
So, Tiger's Claw,
yep.
TCS Kipling, TCS Bengal,
okay.
TCS Hornet's Nest, that's a 0.5,
okay.
TCS Eagle's Talon, Wolfhound, Exeter, Trafalgar, and Beacon Tree. Those are, and it's possible we know the names of other Bengal carriers because there's all sorts of ships mentioned in the background dialogue in the movie at other places, but these are the only ones that are explicitly Bengal class. And before anyone out there asks, maybe they've already asked, I can't see the comments.
Nope.
Yes, this is where the Bengal carrier and Star Citizen, the name came from. In the original trailer for Star Citizen, we had a Bengal carrier that was inspired by the original Bengal carrier, which was the class name of the Tiger's Claw in Wing Commander 1.
Yep. I recall that.
So,
but what a weird, it holds together for a while. Then
it does. And first, I'm going to show you what we're painting over, which is the actual look of the ship in the universe. I'll just go through these real fast. But here's the original concept sketch that appeared in Claw Marks. But count those engines, by the way, for me, and remember that number.
5.
5. Okay. Here's the sprite in Wing Commander 1. This So this is how the game it actually appears in the game. How many engines does it have now?
6-ish.
And here is the ending cutscene from Wing Commander 1. What are we looking at here?
7, baby.
7. So there were some inconsistencies in the original game.
Somebody had engine envy.
Yeah, before anyone wants to argue about the movie and Super Wing Commander, they didn't get it right inside.
Not only
Wing
that, but
Commander
like the
1.
shape of that, it doesn't look right. It looks like a scimitar. You know, the pylons look odd in that. They're not far enough back.
So of course that was the Bengal in Wing Commander 1. Here it is in the intro to Wing Commander 2. That's all you see of it then. Here it's redone for Super Wing Commander and totally different 3D model now.
As you saw in the teaser pre-stream, I couldn't remember what we call it.
The Wing Commander 1, Wing Commander Academy take on it, where they kind of give it a boat's hull at the front, but the back is very close to the Wing Commander 1 look. Mm-hmm. And then we have the movie, where it gets reimagined as this sort of submarine in space. So, that's where we start from all this.
So you can see already why. And this is before the names are added.
So, our first 4 names.
Yep.
Our first 4 names come in 1990, and they're all introduced in claw marks. So there should be some connection that makes them all make sense, since they are all essentially generated by the same person. Yeah. Aaron Alston wrote them all down in claw marks. And they are the Tiger's Claw, or Tiger Claw seen there. The Kipling, there's Rudyard Kipling. Bengal Tiger. And the...
Those are weird. Those are weird looking hornets.
Good hornets.
The nicest hornets I've ever seen.
Now, the first continuity problem is that we establish in this first claw marks that Confederation High Command initiated the construction of the Bengal carrier in 2642, and the Tiger's Claw was the first one to come online. It should be Bengal because it should be the first name. They're Ford class ships because the first one is Ford.
So, wait. So again, it comes online, joins the fleet. So I think
supposedly the Tiger's Claw is longer. It's 10 meters longer than all the others because it was made first.
Okay, I was gonna say there is sort of a quick side note, like real world explanation is that when we built the Essex class carriers in World War II, it was the USS Essex, and then what was originally the USS Bonhomme Richard, they renamed Yorktown, and they were built the same. Like the Essex was started first, but the Yorktown got to the fleet first.
Okay.
So
what do they call it? Yorktown class or
no? They're called Essex class.
Okay.
Yeah, but so I mean, like maybe it could have been that one yard just worked harder.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
You're correct though. Like most of the time, your name.
If it's a Bengal class carrier, there should be a TCS Bengal.
Yeah, and it should be the first proto. Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah.
So these 3 names, the 3 that are absolutely Bengal carriers, the Kipling, the Bengal, and the Tiger's Claw, all are kind of similar. They are all sort of speaking to this British imperial sensibility. It's Rudyard Kipling was this super he's the guy who wrote the Jungle Book, but he was also this super pro-colonial British military writer. And that is all kind of an echo of the earliest state of Wing Commander 1, where you were not defending a peaceful confederation, you were part of an expansionist empire. And it's sort of that sensibility is still there. That's the connection there.
It's a more aggressive, and like honorific instead of,
Hornet's Nest is the joke name from Claw Marks. It's the name of the fictional ship in Claw Marks. There used to be, this is so confusing, but there used to be in Claw Marks before the issue we get be a comic strip about a joke version, a parody version of the Tiger's Claw called The Hornet's Nest. And some people say, that implies that the naming scheme should be animal and then thing it has. Yeah. I say no, it's just a parody of Tiger's Claw rather than the author of the comic knowing that all ships are named this way. And of course, I realized only today what the actual joke is. Hornet's Nest carries Hornet fighters. I never put that together, so it's one of those. I am this number of years old.
That's like what I literally just told you before the show.
Yeah. But different.
Yeah. No, it's the same thing, basically. Shut your mouth. That's the exact same level of stupidity. Except yours is a lot longer if we're really counting.
Not one long. So we kind of have a theme. These British imperialist names kind of tiger themed slightly occasionally.
They're exotic-ish.
But then in 1991 we have...
I have a USS Wasp.
We have the TCS Eagles Talon.
I like the photo you got. Oh, what a vehicle that was.
Which appears in the book we were so excited about earlier today, the Wing Commander 1 and 2 Ultimate Strategy Guide by Mike Harrison.
Yeah.
For some of the missions of Wing Commander 1, where it wants to have them in the narrative but not impact the plot, it assigns them to this other carrier, the TCS Eagles Talon. It's the last two losing, Hubble Star and Hell's Kitchen, are flown by these new pilots off of the Eagles Talon. They still tell you how to play the mission. But he's clearly thinking, Tiger's Claw. He's not thinking about claw marks at all.
Yeah.
He's taking Tiger's Claw and saying, okay, what's like Tiger's Claw? Eagle's Talon. And, of course, it's also a good joke because there's a car called the Eagle Talon that was new at the time.
Remotely popular.
Here's the cool military version. There's the car.
No, that's the cool military version, right? Yeah, I can actually find a nice colored one, too.
That's the Wikipedia image for Eagle Talon.
Wow. But it's what is it? It's a...
Chrysler. It's a Chrysler.
But I'm thinking, what is it like the copy of, or what is it trying to emulate at that time? Is that the Subaru?
It just looks like a generic 80s sedan to me.
Maybe I'm thinking of what's the Chrysler version called. I'll look this up.
You look that up while I move on, too.
Because it's one of those ones where like the three companies had their own Mercury Sable, Mercury Forks.
This brings us to 1993 with the TCS Wolfhound. That is a wolfhound right there. It's a kind of dog. It's not like a I want to suck your blood or a vampire dog or something like that. Is that a concept anyone was thinking a wolfhound was until now? It's just a regular kind of dog, and that's it right there.
Yeah.
This is
Mitsubishi Eclipse and the Laser.
Okay.
That's why. Yes. I also got it was because that was also the era's Eclipse. That's why.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
Anyway, sorry. Go on. Wolfhound.
The Wolfhound shows up in the novel End Run in 1993. When we first see the Confederation fleet all getting together, they note that the TCS Wolfhound, the sister ship of the long lost Tiger's Claw, is among the fleet.
I do have a Hornet.
And that, of course, makes you wonder, where did this come from? Why did Bill Forstchen pick Wolfhound of all things? It's not an animal possessive. It's not going back to that claw marks British colonialism sort of a sense.
Yep.
In fact, he's referencing the Wing Commander series Bible he was provided with. And I have taken the reference out here just to show you guys right here exactly where the Wolfhound came from, which is essentially from this joke in the ship section of the series Bible that they've been pulling together, which is that the early ships were named for felines, which I guess is them trying to justify Bengal and Tiger's Claw, leaving out Kipling and Eagle's Talon. And then once the war with Kilrathi was fully underway in the 2640s, ships were named for canines, e.g. CVS-13 Wolfhound. In and of itself, very, very interesting. But that is where Wolfhound came from. He took it from the Bible. So we're trying to figure out, how does Wolfhound fit into this? That's how. Note also that they have kind of intentionally swapped they have the designation for the Tiger Claw wrong. By the way, it's CVS-7 CV7 in the game. Mm-hmm. What they've given it here is CVS-02 to imply that Bengal is 01 and fix that continuity. What everybody at that time would have called the continuity error. So that's a thing. What's next? Oh, this is the one that makes me angry. This is the one that makes me angry. The TCS Exeter, and this is the cathedral city of Exeter in England. Because I have one to tie together for these last four. It's ridiculous, but I can tie them together.
I actually used to live in Exeter, New Hampshire.
Okay.
That's all I got. I'm not going to say any more to make you mad at me.
No, this is a ridiculous one because it's from a cutscene in Super Wing Commander. One thing Wing Commander 1 drops for Super Wing Commander is the Beautiful Planet cutscenes. Mm-hmm. Instead, pretty much they're all some 3D ships are doing something because they didn't want to create these environments. So the first win-lose cutscene, we cut to another Bengal carrier called it says it's the TCS Exeter, and it's under attack. And if you've won the first 3 series, it survives the attack, and if you've lost them, it's destroyed. The reason that's so ridiculous and makes us angry is they just looked at the other ships in Wing Commander 1, the Destroyer, which is Exeter class, and they used that name for the dialogue. So...
a bunch of sons of bitches.
Sons of bitches.
That is pretty shitty, yeah.
But that is the most... used to be the most obscure one. If you were at like a Wing Commander bar and you wanted to impress your friends, naming all the Bengal carriers. That used to be the hardest one.
If you were at a Wing Commander bar.
Cool Wing Commander bar. Next up, we have 1996, the TCS Trafalgar, which is the other Bengal we see on Wing Commander Academy.
Yep.
And... they clearly didn't take into account any of this in any way. They just named it Trafalgar because it's this big naval episode. It's this Age of Sail episode, and so it makes sense. But Trafalgar is, of course, where Admiral Nelson fought his great victory over the, I want to say French
and Spanish combined fleets. Expect every man to do their duty. I forget the exact quote right now.
So... that one's kind of an outlier, but again, it's also a British place. There's Trafalgar Square in London. So,
yep.
And last and weirdest...
well, Trafalgar Square is named, however...
named after, because of the statue there.
Yeah.
Last, we have the TCS Beacon Tree, which is mentioned in passing in the novel Pilgrim Truth by Peter Tulip. The Beacon Tree is said to be a Bengal carrier that is under attack by the Karathi and the Ymir system, and then the Concordia goes to rescue it at one point in the book, but nothing particularly exciting happens beyond that. Looking up the word, it goes back to an area of land outside London that is no longer called that, but it was there's a Beacon Tree estate today, and there was a Beacon Tree 100 that was a voting area outside London. So it's another British place technically. However, looking it up a little bit further, I can also see that it's definitely just named after a street sign in Orlando, because you see this Beacon Tree whatever in Orlando, and everything from those Peter Tulip books come from like stuff around Florida.
Okay. Well, that is a real.
So that is all the names of the Bengal carriers, where they came from, and all sorts of fun continuity errors. I find it tremendously exciting to think about how things were thought about. How did they get here from there? And how, today I look back at this and I have all this information, and you can be an angry gatekeeping nerd and be like, this proves it didn't happen. Or you can be like, wow, it's really interesting how many configurations this went through to get here.
Yeah, because we tend to just think about the final result and not how, you sit there and debate for hours and argue and then think and rethink and redraw to get to, the reason it's called this is that. In reality, there's 45 minutes of explanation behind your decision to get to that.
Yeah, I think one thing I find with fans online all the time is there's this expectation that the source media should be perfect, and it never can be.
Of course
and it never
not.
should be.
No.
And it's so much more rewarding to try to figure out how things happen than it is to complain about them.
Yeah, because sometimes you have like an epiphany at 2:00 in the afternoon, like having a sandwich, and you're like, oh my god, this is it, this solves all that. And then, later on you don't retouch it for a while and you come to some different... Yeah, it's always some crazy thing like that. It's not, let me think about fleets today and plan everything. Like, no.
So I will end this by saying that they did end up getting a retcon in the continuity about when the Bengal entered service. The Confederation Handbook moves it back to 2619 for a smaller... So it's the Tiger Skull is the first of the Flight 2 Bengals in 2644, and it predates the war. So it all kind of works together.
Okay, then.
And that is my Bengal carrier slideshow that you made me make.
All right, then. And hey, 54 minutes in and not a second of gameplay yet.
Not too bad.
That's not too bad for
us, yeah.
For a first Afterburner in like 6 weeks. I think that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I was cutting stuff out. I was like, I'll do this next week, I'll do this next week, I'll do this next week. All the random stuff I had in my head.
Well, that's one of those things with this where it's like, it usually starts, I'm like, well, we have this little idea. And you're like, actually, you know what? And next it's like, I took that and took 3 other ideas. And so, no, that was good.
So next up, we're going to revisit Wing Commander 3 3DO. And this will be extra frustrating because I have certainly forgotten what the controls are. Hopefully I have muscle memory that tells me how to operate my ship. But
prepared for the sound of clickety-clack railroad tracks, basically.
Yes, exactly.
That's going to be tough.
There's the Phoenix 3DO emulator.
Yep, our good friend New Paruskis.
No, is that it? No, there. We're jumping right to the movie.
So your headset's really loud now.
My headset is very loud. Let us know how the
desktop audio is
out there, just in case.
Sound testing. Sound. The legendary kernel. That's right. So when it was muted.
It was muted and now it's not.
Well, there you go. So now, how's our sound test? We're all equal here. Score points. Come on. The Admiral likes you. Score some points.
I'm never sucking up to Malcolm McDowell.
All right.
Personal decision.
Let's see if we can add to
Everybody has a line they're unwilling to cross.
I've brought my own cook on board, so let's see if we can
So
get
one of the
some
people
decent
behind him should be, if we learned from book club way back when, one of those little people there should be Kevin.
Tolan, yeah. The Lone Wolf.
Somewhere there's an extra in Hollywood who
doesn't know
he played Kevin Tolwyn in a movie.
The Admiral's nephew. Yep.
And look at all the gumps we have here in this room that do not appear in the PC version. There's folks using Rachel's computer.
Yep. Look at the gumps. I was looking for Forrest there. Oh boy.
And if you have forgotten where we were all those weeks ago, this is the Torgo system. We are about to learn about the BMS.
According to pilots in numerous sectors, the Karathi have ceased the time-honored practice of taking ejected pilots prisoner by plucking them out of space's vacuum and tractoring them aboard support ships. Instead, they have been firing on the defenseless flyers, murdering them in cold blood.
So we get a... is that a new news clip?
There was a new news clip. The Karathi are murdering ejected pilots. They've stopped taking prisoners as they have before.
Most likely, Flint should be in gunnery control.
Let's check it out.
She's not been moved. Has been a while. What's this?
There she is.
Oh, it must seem like old home week to you. First the Kilrathi Prince, and now Admiral Tolwyn will be next. Sorry, I know who you're thinking about.
Do you? You must be a mind reader.
No,
Think about
I just know
Stingray.
more about your history than you might be aware of. She's a colonel in covert ops, right?
How did you become such a student of history?
Barry, all you missed was
That was my
our
weapon growing up.
bantering back
Being
and
the
forth
girl,
about some
I had to
afterburner
have something
topics
to
for
get
the
in.
last 45 minutes.
And
Just
one thing I
45
know
minutes
about
of
my
pure
history
Wing
is that
Commander
you and the
chat.
Admiral
Yep.
crossed
Well, yes, he
paths
just
more
jumped
than
in
a few
saying,
times.
I'm late. Did I miss much or just the playthrough? Nope, we literally just we haven't even played
We
a
just
mission
started the
yet.
playthrough.
We're just chatting people up. Yeah, you better call him a jerk after you saying that, sucking up to him.
Bumpheads
You better don't be
is more like
two-facing.
He knows history too, plus every rule and regulation.
Nope, and now
He
the
just
flame
doesn't know
war
the
has
human
begun.
heart.
Although,
Can't argue with you
Mike
there.
has said thumbs down to Flint.
Do we need to have this conversation right now, you and me?
What are you thinking?
Tell who did you go with way back when? The first time through.
Rachel?
Okay. Also Rachel.
I don't know if you're good at... I'm trying to think, in panic mode now, crap, what was my logic? It was not... I don't think at the time I knew the porn thing. So I don't...
I wouldn't have cared about that.
I don't think it... I think that would have probably affected my decision.
My reasoning has always been that it seemed inappropriate for Blair to be with someone directly under his command.
Okay. I wonder, I don't know if that's my logic or not. I can't really recall. Like, I must have obviously had some...
Welcome, Colonel. As you may or may not know, we are currently en route to the Torgo system, where we will rendezvous with destiny. Gentlemen,
I'm trying to think if there's
give
anything that
you
would
the
make it seem
Confederation's
natural for the
finest
pilot and the
achievement,
mechanic to be together.
the Behemoth.
Something else of this era.
after a decade of
Prior
secret
to
research
the
and
movie scene as
development,
kids.
our greatest minds have created the device that will spell doom for the Kilrathi.
I mean, the great pilot romance in
Behemoth
all of our
is a
heads at
series
that
of
time would have been
linked,
Top Gun with
superconducting energy
his
Yeah, and
character.
she's the
conduits,
instructor. I mean,
focusing
it's not
out
quite-
500 million gigawatts
it's not quite
into
exactly
one
that, but I
ransom
mean,
point.
it's...
Any target at the end of that point is destroyed.
But I certainly remember the old
Captain.
flame wars and the bitter arguments on IRC. You know,
I mean, also,
Testing and
looking back,
development.
like, I mean, they're both
Unfortunately,
attractive women, but I think I just
forced
find
me
Rachel
to
more
deploy
attractive.
the weapon now.
And might I ask why, Admiral?
yeah, I remember
The answer to that, more
we had a
than
guy in
anyone
the
else,
IRC
Colonel.
channel back then who would
The classified and
just
bitter
scream at
truth
you if you said anything
is that
good about
Confed
Rachel.
has
He
been
was a
losing
flip
the war this
man.
past year.
I do recall there being a lot
If the
of
current
terrible
trend
things like that.
continues,
Yes.
the
A lot of
Kilrathi will be
terrible,
walking
terrible
on the
things. I was
Earth
about
in
to ask
6
you what
months,
their
maybe
name were,
less.
but no.
So,
Oh, I'm not
the
naming
Behemoth
names
must be pressed into
because I
service.
can't
early
remember them.
I'm
anticipated.
trying to recall, because I feel like there were
Because
some
of
people
this
that had, like,
accelerated
even
deployment,
names that were,
the ship's
like,
defensive
based on
systems
Rachel.
are. How can I put
Those are the
this?
Wild West days.
Somewhat
Yeah, you allow a group of teenage boys,
There are a few,
incredibly sexually frustrated
soft
teenage
spots
boys in
located
1994,
here
to make a
and
choice
here.
between two women
Where the
based
shields are thin.
largely on appearance,
No time
and
to complete
you're going to have some
laser
unpleasant
turrets.
content come out of
I
that.
expect you to be
Yeah,
especially
especially
aware of
when
these
one of
areas,
those
Colonel.
ladies has
It'll
some
be your job to
content
protect
that would
and defend
appeal
the
to the
ship.
Puritan nature of those teenage boys.
You know, I'll
They
be
should
honest,
look
I don't
upon as the
remember there being
Confederation's
anything
last
about her
ditch
porn
effort.
career
Yeah, you're
when
right.
Wing Commander 3 actually came out. And, you know, she does an amazing job. She's the best actress in the
thank
game.
Well, the download.
I remember it starting to be kind of a heh, by the way, you know, sort of like a fact you tell
have
people.
arrived at Torgo,
But I
gentlemen,
don't
where
I don't
have
recall
hoped
anybody
for a
especially
nice
judging the
rendezvous
game
with the
like
Behemoth.
this is trash as a porn star.
Yeah, no, I don't think that either.
The
No.
party.
But I don't. Yeah, I feel like if
Colonel,
anything that was brought up was,
this is
oh yeah,
undoubtedly
and
the
then one of
most
those things you're like,
important
yeah,
mission
whatever.
you've
Of
ever
course,
filled in your
everybody
life.
knows that type
You
thing.
must defend the Behemoth.
And of
You
course,
know-
back then you couldn't just look up
All
commercial
fighters
pornography and
are
have
clear.
it. You know, you
hope
were
that
lucky to
somebody's
find some
stabbed.
password for a Web 1.0 site occasionally.
Not even that, yeah.
I don't get to pick a wingman on that one. That's interesting. I don't get to talk to Rachel. Oh, it's a scramble. Okay, but I still get this screen.
Well, they want you to decide.
So this still does have the great scramble music in this version. Now this is kind of a weird, complex mission on the PC. I wonder if we're going to simplify it here. I suspect we are. Let's find out.
There's gonna be 15 light destroyers.
Just one after another for the next 45 minutes.
Right. And then I'm trying to think what other ships have really have been a pain for you to kill in this version. Or we got
Okay, I got the autopilot on muscle memory.
all right.
Got
that's
my
good.
guns switched.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, with only a few
Yeah.
fires between. Well, the Behemoth looks. Oh, is that a destroyer? Okay, there's a destroyer at the front, but the shape is what the. Okay. Huh. So they changed the bridge in the back. Looks like.
We'll take a study of it after we get rid of this. They're all fake.
Gotta remember to talk over the keys.
Talk over the keys.
You do have one. So there's a destroyer that hopefully is. Alright, you're off to a good start.
Yeah.
Not
Oh, get some tots.
bring in the Toth.
So do you know where the name Torgo system comes from?
I do not.
I can. This one's a sci-fi reference. Comes from an episode of, it comes from a movie, Matters of the Hands of Fate, but it was popular at this time because it had just been on Mystery Science Theater 3000, where it was widely recognized as being the worst movie of all time. Wing 3 actually has a couple different Mystery Science references, including the cheat code, the Mitchell cheat code. The Mitchell sound clip is from another episode of MST. Wow, it looks really different. I never noticed that.
We've got the under construction part is. It doesn't even look under construction. It looks like it's just a part of the vessel. It looks like it's just a ring. Yeah. And there's those other ports. Mufasa asks, where was Wing Commander 3 filmed?
Wing Commander 3 was filmed in Los Angeles.
The City of Angels.
I have the specific studio name. Is it Del Mar or Havenhurst? I can't remember which is which studio, but it does. Oh wow! Look, there's the destroyer from the top. That's
look at that. Look, they gave it wing. Oh, they really futz with this. I can really take a peek at this. They've really played with it.
But now we have Corvettes attacking it.
Oh, sweet!
Pretty cool mission. I want this in the PC.
Well, yeah, I do. Whoa!
Oh,
there's an interesting.
Is that it? That sure looks like you could fly into it.
It does. That actually, although looks better than the PC. If anything, this behemoth looks more well constructed. This looks like, this would be the TCS Tiger's Claw behemoths.
Good job, guys, adapting the behemoth.
This would be TCS Juggernaut, if you will. Or if we're just going crazy, TCS Alpha.
So who's out there tonight? Any questions? How did folks' holiday go? Let's talk Wing Commander while we blow up a Corvette.
Explosions everywhere.
You really nailed it.
Is that it? Oh my! I know.
Is there no true end?
No true end.
Was 3 and 4 filmed at the same studio?
They were not. 4 was a considerable upgrade in terms of studio, is my understanding.
There was no casting couch in the Wing Commander 4 studio, is what you're telling me.
Well, that's how they got Biff.
It's really I have to say, your muscle memory is not.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you should give those muscles some credit. They have better memory than we thought.
they're the only ones I use.
What was the filming budget?
I think the filming budget is 3 to 3.5 million. I think the overall, the game is usually said to cost $4 million. Which was a crazy amount at the time, but it was incredibly successful. Everybody got rich.
Which production had Kilrathi themed craft services? And did we ever figure out where the Wing Commander's uniforms came from?
No, beyond. I mean, we have the credits for them. I've never reached out to the prop house that did them. They look like off-the-shelf, like Garbage Man outfits, but from the production book material we have archived, it certainly seems more like they were custom sewn for the game.
I say because they look like weird.
It's kind of like chunks on the side.
Yeah, no, it has wings.
It's the thick behemoth.
Yeah, it's got some wings.
This version of the PC has all sorts of different nav points, but I noticed that my
they're doing them all here at once.
Yeah, it looks like they're all at once and at the Behemoth in this version.
Has Mark Hamill ever spoken about his role as Blair? On Twitter, he rarely mentions
He has spoken about his role as Blair. In fact, there's a great interview where he explains that the thing that kept him a rich person in the 90s, was Wing Commander. He made a whole lot more money off of Wing Commander. As of 1995, he had made a whole lot more money off of Wing Commander than he had off of Star Wars, just because of what rights he had. You know, he was given points on Wing Commander, which means, you know, a percentage of the profit goes to the actor. And of course, as a teenager in 1977, or 20-something in 1977, he didn't have the leverage to get that on Star Wars. So that was just a normal film role, whereas Wing Commander was something that kept money coming in. Which is interesting to think about, because you certainly would not assume that off the bat. But that's why he was so happy to return, even for Prophecy or just to do a voice in the movie, because he had sort of a financial connection to the Wing Commander franchise.
Was this before he became the Joker in Batman?
Around the same time, I believe. This would have been right around when that show started.
Armed and ready.
I don't know why this Corvette is so far away.
Yeah, what is this Corvette doing?
Bad Corvette, man.
Bad fat.
Armed and ready.
Yep. Why don't you afterburn over there?
Because I'm at afterburn.
What's this say?
Okay, but I figured out the speed at least.
That's good. It's the little things.
If you haven't been watching along with us over the last few months, we're playing the 3DO version of Wing Commander 3. What we've been doing is do the PC missions one week and then the 3DO missions the next week and compare them. And they're so different.
It's absolutely
night and day.
What's more amazing is when they do line up and like when they've chosen to kind of have them align a little bit, you know? That's always the weird thing.
But we're playing on a 3DO emulator called Phoenix, which has some stuff we still need to learn how to do.
That's one way to put it. Is this guy running? Is he running away too?
He seems to be running away.
Well, what
a cowardly.
This seems like a reverse Spawn or something. They're supposed to spawn towards it, and instead it's
Spawn. There's a thing from the 90s.
Mission accomplished, Colonel.
Look at those Gibbs. Alright, don't autopilot. Now we have to fly all the way
back and check out.
Interesting. Even look at the entrance from this distance.
Yeah, it's big. Good draw distance for this giant ship. One thing I learned experimenting with this is the Karathi Dreadnought is in the game, but there's no way to see it in the mission. The mission ends as soon as it spawns in the Proxima one. Mm-hmm. So we're never going to get to see the Dreadnought, which is unfortunate.
Never gonna see you or not.
Well, we'll just sit here for a while while we head over back to the Behemoth.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny too. You can still, it's even drawing the destroyer with it.
3DO, quite a piece of hardware.
Oh, whoa, we're fine. Okay, interesting. So we're heading straight on. That's the bore of the gun.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the destroyers and such do not have unique names in this version.
Maybe it's just the TCS destroyer.
There's also, and this is absolutely somebody with experience cutting stuff for console ports, there's no Confed Cruiser in this version of the game. There's just no model. And I can't imagine that would have saved anything in terms of system requirements, but here we are.
Maybe a little bit of space, but even that seems trivial when they've added all this other stuff back.
Yeah.
Okay, so the inside looks very, it's smoother. There's less, there's no construction holes, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. It looks like instead they have taken those incomplete panels at the front and just made it like a ring. Mm-hmm. So now it looks like a red stripe around
trying to fly away enough to see the sign.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks for all your afterburner, you jerk.
I blame the Kilrathi.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so we have like engine. Oh, there's some incomplete sections, I guess, back a bit.
Yeah.
And then they have like the engine nacelle entry color part for those side panels, and we have a bulge, right? Because you're looking at it from the
look at the sides. It's just like a little wing.
Yeah, it's definitely have 2 bulges. This is the bridge is definitely different because it looks like you have the engine section, and then it looks like the bridge is almost directly straight. It doesn't look like it's out another beam. You know how it is.
Yeah.
It looks like it's just it's like attached to the top of the engines or something. Oh no, there is. Okay, interesting. So instead of having that little kind of cube at the back, if you will, they have a straight up conning tower.
Yeah.
Huh. And that looks like the same one from the mining base or any of the other kind of bases we've seen.
Yeah, it looks like a Kilrathi ground base. Actually.
Yeah. I was gonna say it looks like the skyscrapers almost, right? Yeah, that's weird. Interesting.
Well, that's really cool.
Interesting. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I say make sure.
Take one more look.
Yeah, see if you can get let's see if we can get the angle.
See the engines from.
Okay.
There we go.
Interesting.
Oh no, that's not the rear. That's
yeah.
To the side. Watch it be with the victory next mission. It'd be so easy.
It's weird the little flares they put on it too. I mean, it definitely looks like the sleeker behemoth.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah.
Good job, 3DO guys.
Yeah, I mean, I like how they brightened it up by adding the engine nacelle blue sections and then that red ring at the front. Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets its... Okay, so the engines... It must have what?
Got a big block of engines.
Does it have 2? Or is it 4 stacked, actually? Kind of thinking.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, because it's not like it just... I just remember it's a wall of engines and it's square.
Yeah, my thought would be 9, but anyway, let's go back to the...
Form on my wing.
Oh no, he's forgotten autopilot. We're stuck.
Autopilot. It's landing that may be a little bit tougher.
We're stuck at the behemoth. Oh nice, you just discovered how to remove the cockpit there for a second.
Need clearance, TCS victory.
That would have been nice when we were looking at the behemoth.
Yes, it would have.
That you and the victory were the
Dink.
correct choices this undertaking. The behemoth requires...
Yeah, flying around in the PC version, flying through, around, upside down, the behemoth was always so much fun. Not only that, then you also had, there were missions where there were like NPC wingmen with you.
Yeah.
Which is always such a treat when you're like, look at, there's another fighter out there.
Well, I had like 3 or 4 arrow wingmen in this one, but they didn't have unique names. They only give it to your wingmen in this, so we don't get to meet like Bacon Boy or Stig.
Primate. No background behind. I don't know if that was that or because he was switching to the other view.
No, it was the video doesn't. He doesn't have a background. He has a background, but it's just a black screen. So they didn't shoot him the same as they did the other.
Gotcha.
It's Rachel. Let's talk to her.
My, Grandma, what a big gun.
What's up? My. Yeah.
That's what they all
Isn't that in
say.
a weird context?
Talk is cheap. Maybe you haven't noticed.
See, this predicts modern society. She's just sitting on her cell phone while you're trying to talk to her.
looking at a
doing her app.
Looking at some guy's big gun, huh?
Christmas tree lights too.
Yeah, look at some guy just sent me unsolicited, jerk. Keep your behemoth pictures to yourself. If you find yourself with a nerdy Wing Commander lady and you want to impress her, send her a picture of your behemoth.
I suppose this wouldn't interest you.
But I mean, this is the best Gump in the game. The Rollins with the papers. It's weirdly high quality compared. Anytime you see Rollins in the elevator, he just looks so much clearer than the others.
His transmissions are so
But also this 1970s style dot matrix paper that shows up throughout the victory.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it's 600 years in the future, and we're looking at gigantic
Sir, I know there are times when you
spreadsheets.
think I'm a little crazy, but I do know my job.
keep me posted.
That's one of those things that, you know, I think any sci-fi thing doesn't know how to, you know, properly explain, like, masses of paperwork and email. You know, Star Trek, you just see people with, like, stacks of pads on their desk. And
yeah,
it's like, wouldn't one of them just do all of that?
One pad would be fine.
And I mean, and listen, I'll give you like two. Maybe you have unclassified and classified or something. You know, like I'll give you that at least. But any more than that, now you're dicking around with me.
Where's Cohen?
Our local hero. Well, I must say that so far I'm very impressed you haven't lost your touch.
I could go to the local hero.
Speak privately.
Dude, yeah. Never
The main hero.
Get it off your chest, Colonel.
That's interesting. So you have this sense in your mind that the stars of Wing Commander 3 are Mark Hamill, John Rhys Davies, and Malcolm McDowell. But really, Malcolm McDowell and John Rhys Davies each appear for a series of missions, or 2 series at most. They're almost like fixers in Privateer.
Yeah.
But you still, because of the way the game is made, even though they may be shot for a couple days versus several, the whole time for Mark Hamill, they seem so important. And
you may realize by
sometimes you'll watch a movie and like some cheaper independent movie, and they could afford 1 star, and he shows up in 3 scenes that maybe are not connected to the rest of the picture.
So, the first thing that came to mind was, and it's one that I remember when I saw it in the theaters, I was like, you lying SOBs. Executive Decision. Where Steven Seagal dies in like the first 10 minutes of the movie, but he's billed as like, Steven Seagal and Kurt Russell in Executive Decision, and he literally dies almost immediately. And you're like, you bait and switch sons of bitch. Like, oh.
Yeah, normally you can feel that. You can be like, this movie doesn't actually star Tom Hanks.
You had no, and that
he
one,
was the manager.
It was actually, I feel like, a really surprising twist in that one, that they off him so quickly, and you're just like, you're taken aback by it. You're like, holy crap.
Actually, Alien was like that on purpose. People were like, oh, Tom Skerritt movie. And not for long.
I've met Mr. Skerritt. Very nice man.
Well, let's all brag about whether we have or have not met Tom Skerritt.
He said he complimented me.
While the Admiral's on board.
On your hair?
No, it was on something much more important than that.
I'll take guiding just one ship. The day-to-day successes are more tangible. Let's get to it, Colonel. The Behemoth's not ready to move out yet, and we need to keep the Kirathi away from it.
One precious joy in life is the number of different ways people can say Behemoth. Just in this game alone.
This 5th point for our exit with the Behemoth.
Different ways to pronounce it.
Behemoth.
So
this is going to be an interesting one, because this is kind of a specialty mission on the PC, which, as we discovered, is incredibly broken last time. But I'll take Maniac for this one.
Maniac, you're going to be my wingman. Don't make me regret it. Dismissed.
Oh, the mining mission?
Mining mission, yeah. PC version, we have 3 nav points, and we're supposed to dump 2 mines at each one. I am curious
what the futz is
what we will do in this version.
For you, huh?
He literally talked right to you. What do you mean your loadout not good?
Yeah, I chose to. Look, they've assigned me a Thunderbolt, which in the PC version you cannot.
I don't think they're going to give you. What?
Whoa, no.
What is going on?
No longbow at all.
What are they?
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Interesting. So each missile hard point can hold 2 mines. What are they holding back the longbow for?
Interesting. Yeah, why are they holding back the longbow?
Huh.
I mean, we saw it once.
Well, no, you can't take mines on it.
Interesting, though.
So it's just there must be something that the Thunderbolt missile hard points are, heavier or whatever, and allow different mountings.
That's exciting, though. That's something I've never done before. Look, we could.
Yeah, but what's it do?
How many will we get?
Whoa. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Interesting. So, all right.
Okay.
That's different.
Oh, no, I didn't want the Hellcat.
Oh, I was gonna say.
No, I should do it in Hellcat, shouldn't I?
No, dude.
I don't.
Listen. You can. Yeah. I think doing it in a Thunderbolt is cool enough. Good thing you checked.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
12 mines. Okay.
Interesting. All right. Interesting. That's not what I would have expected.
That is a cool Wing Commander fact I didn't know before.
Yeah.
Way to solve a problem with the PC version, and then include it again because you still have the still have the arrow.
wonder, but what are they holding back? How long before? Unless there's going to be the end of this is just murdering cap ships.
We've already had that.
Oh, I mean like murdering cap ships. I'm talking cruisers. You know, they don't have the heavy destroyer in this one, right?
They do. It's what they call it the super destroyer.
Oh, okay. So they keep that in there. They cut the cruiser. So yeah, no, I'm guessing you're just gonna be murdering destroyers, cruisers.
Say, you know what they call the heavy destroyer in France? They call it Le Super Destroyer.
That's like, at least my pasta joke was funny. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta! I didn't invent it. I heard it on the radio literally right as I got here. And then
what radio station do you listen to, by the way?
Today I was just flipping through because NPR...
It was the impeachment hearing. Yeah, NPR is useless right now.
Yeah, where some lady was talking in very slow terms about something that made me want to drive into a bridge embankment. So I changed the channel. But yeah, I don't know. It was probably one of the... Yeah, the guy was super excited.
Yeah, we've started listening to NPR when we're going to bed, just because the tone it puts you to sleep.
It's like putting on. It's like C-SPAN. You want to fall asleep.
It's like warm milk.
Yeah, you need to go. You need a quick nap in the afternoon. Turn C-SPAN on. Bam, you're down in 2 minutes.
The dulcet tones of Kojo's voice just put us to bed.
Kojo now.
That is easily the worst Kojo voice I've ever heard.
Kojo now.
He's not Italian.
No, yeah, because I don't know how to do it. He has a weird accent where he has like it's soft, but it has like this extended pull on it.
I like the part of your brain that's like, well, I don't know how to do the accent. Italian.
But that's how it always goes too. This is like when I do my students. I'd be like, I do German and Russian, and they're like, dude, are they cousins? Like that sounds like the same guy. And I'm like, damn it! I don't know how to. I can't because it's like British influence with a pull on it. I can't do that. If you know how to.
Welcome to the Kojo Nabi.
See, you're better with the death maybe, but you don't have the you need that British. But I know, but he has it like that curved. I don't know how to describe the sound of it. He's like very soft spoken though, with like that British kind of like twang on it.
At the risk of interrupting this debate, a couple interesting things about this nav point.
Is Kojo flying with you?
We are apparently escorting a mine layer.
What the? Okay.
It's a destroyer that's laying the mines.
Oh. So what are you? You're just
I just have a lot of mines.
Well, that's really a kick in the nuts for like you know. I don't know how often you shoot missiles.
The other thing is we get to see this jump point here, which where is it? The jump points in this game are odd because they're all like these little flash. Look, that's the jump point.
Okay.
It's these flashing holes in space that you can see.
Interesting.
There, I dumped 2 mines just in case. I think it did nothing. I didn't get to fly to the next waypoint.
Yeah.
I think the mission is not actually measuring my dropping of mines.
Waypoint.
It's just my escorting of this minesweeper.
I'm gonna agree with you on that.
Which honestly makes a lot more sense than having one fighter drop off 2 mines. We've seen Kilrathi minefields in the games before. There must be tens of thousands of them to fill up cubic hectares of space.
Yep.
Not two mines dropped by a fighter.
They're in their defense. They're big mines.
Terribly inefficient. Oh, and yeah, I should have pointed this out back when we were so impressed with that loadout screen. The mines are Porcupine Mine Mark III in this.
Oh.
It's a nice nod back to Wing Commander 1.
It's just a weird looking piece. It's like a Erector set with some explosive packed in it and 2 antennae. You know? Like,
yes.
It's really a weird. Like, I mean, I get it. They're trying to evoke this shape and idea of a naval, mine. But it's almost like a buoy as opposed to what you classically think of as the spiky mines. And even with Commander 1, they do the kind of what the hell? What was the toy when we were kids? It basically is a kickball ball with a piece of plastic put around it. Looks like Saturn, so you jump on it.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Like that's what
I remember the commercial for it.
Yeah, like that's what the Wing Commander the mines are in that to me. Which those like kind of make sense. You know, like something sticking away from the.
Oh, the Wing Commander 2 mines.
No, the one where it's the red dot spinning like the frisbees.
No, one is spheres with red dots.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Two is
two.
Whoa!
Hello.
Would seem to be a carrier.
That's not Skip It. Skip It is the one with the that's this way thing. That's where it counts. Like that's where it's.
Yeah, it counts. It's like on a string.
Yeah, no, this is a ball. It's like the kickball ball within a solid piece of plastic around.
Like imagine a ball that's Saturn. It is a ring.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way I can think of it. Yeah, like picture one of those balls that you could definitely throw it at your friends and cause moderate bodily injury, I'd say. So here we have a carrier.
Yeah, this is what the 3D version does too. And Coretta carrier.
Pogo ball does sound. Yeah. Pogo or low ball. Yes, that is correct. Fossa had that. If you look up low ball, it looks like that's it. So if you low pogo, spring ball. Yeah. But yeah, that's what the Wing Commander 2 mines always made.
I know what you mean.
Gee, it really would be. Wouldn't it be great if like you could? Is that? I'm assuming that carrier is going at 0 kilometers per second. Because if only you could mine it, since you don't have missiles to kill it with.
You know, I guess I actually do have a torpedo.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
If I can remember how you select it.
Everything we get, you get knowledge about America's latest super carrier, Horatio Nelson's naming scheme making no sense for the Bengals, and Pogo Ball 90s deep fiction.
That got it. Now we've got some Corvettes to chase down.
I will say, if anything, this game does punch you with a lot of Corvettes, but
at least they're not hell Corvettes. I mean, they're easy. They're just big fighters.
Yeah, they
don't even have the damaging gun in the back.
Yeah, you take that one turret away, and these things are pretty garbage.
I always thought it'd be a fun one to like own. The Karathi Corvette from Wing Commander 3. Like that could be your futuristic home. Like a space RV, space juice.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
Like post-war, you travel around.
So you have bad memories from the Johnny Green. So you're thinking you want to be more exotic, take the fancy. You like the?
It seems like it would be roomy. It's got a couple decks.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure it'd have a ton of golds. Karathi loved that red and loved that gold. So
one dumb project I've been thinking of playing around with is seeing to what degree the Windows textures in Wing Commander 3 ships make sense. Like figuring out how many decks does a carrier have based on the windows.
Yep.
And whether or not that makes sense for the theoretical length of the ship.
You say that makes me actually think of a question. Do you know what the actual? Because remember isn't it in the manual in Victory Streak it says aim at the windows or greater damage or something?
Yes.
Like that? What is the actual? Is there any mechanic in the game that actually models that?
There is. You do 50% more damage when you hit something at those particular textures.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. 50%?
Yeah.
Damn. So if you're firing at the engines, you're hitting solid armor, whereas if then you go towards the bridge section or that, or just the regular.
I think engines are actually one of the ones that take more damage too.
Okay. Interesting. I'd be curious about how that works. When you said thinking about Windows, I remember that's one of those big points that sticks out from.
Yeah, that is an actual mechanic in the game.
Oh, and then really? So they hit you with permits, and then just to be dinged, it's like, you know what you need? You need Little Brother the Sword back.
Yeah.
Come on. I see the desire of this mission. Just love burning ships. It's a great spin of death there, though. I did like that. Started spinning out.
They like these combined sword attack back top wings too. B3 uses a lot more combined.
To be honest, it's actually that in the PC that'd be a pretty hard wing to go against too.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, because you'd be chasing the sword attack while the Vactop would definitely be hammering it. Like, yeah, that'd be actually a good challenge.
Affirmative, breaking formation.
So they're making us fight through a fourth wave of enemy ships.
There's our light destroyer. There's one we don't. We haven't seen in a little while.
Like if I look there, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decks in that little thin section there. 2, 3, 5, maybe 6. No, it's 5.
Yeah, that was weird. It looked like 6 for a second. Like I don't know if the detector was changing on us.
So I think it would be cool to go through the models in Wing 3 and then compare it to the console versions to see if anything's consistent. Just seems like a fun project.
I just love it, wasn't it? Like, see how they match up. It's not nice. See if they're even consistent at all, or if they've just pulled this out of absolutely nowhere.
Well, you know, there's 2 ways to do things going forward. It's adapt what accidentally happens and adapt what is intended to happen. And knowing both is just fun.
That's true.
Like the timeline, the Wing Commander timeline was never intended to work together, but no. Once you do, it's pretty fun to figure it out.
Well, sure. And we've only spent 25 plus years trying to figure out and run just how the book itself's timeline is, and then where it slides in. Yeah, that's been great.
Well, look, it actually says Mine Layer.
Oh. I was just saying, because why does it look? No, it's not different, right? Is that
the
yellow?
Same model.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the turret.
Yeah, okay. Because I wasn't sure if that texture was there. Interesting.
Oh, interesting. And very strange that they solved this problem in 2 directions by having both the destroyer lay the mines and giving you the option to carry extra mines.
Well, I wonder if it's because maybe if the destroyer, if the mine layer is knocked out, you can still complete the mission?
I doubt it. I don't think it was
like
counting my mines at all.
Yeah, that seems like
it seems like the simplified engine probably doesn't have the counting things at this nav point.
You'll be destroyed, eh? Party time! Help me out, Ace.
What's it? Does it have a comp? No. Is anything unique?
No.
This does seem like a bit of a longer than usual mission. I will say.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think this one and then the first one both seemed really long.
TCS victory.
That's because that first one they just stacked everything at the behemoth. Where otherwise, what is that? 4 or 5 nav points?
Yeah, that's usually a long leg patrol.
Yeah. Yeah, where then you're encountering other arrows at those nav points and stuff.
What am I autopiloting to now, guys? I just requested landing.
You're
okay?
You were
fine.
Okay. Were you too far away?
I guess.
Whoa! Look what's below you.
Yeah, there's that behemoth.
What the? Okay, look at that's a.
The whole fleet is here.
You know what it looks like? It either looks like an old style car cigarette lighter. You know, the ones that pushed in and popped out.
Yeah.
Or if anyone with like car trailers and stuff, that looks like the one of the male plugs you use to hook up like the lights and brakes and stuff. It looks like that same shape.
All right.
Which is, I wonder if that's what I think that's that I'm looking at it, because they usually have those wings so that you can always lock it into the same points. Foss has a fancy candle. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
you see that? Yeah. Wouldn't stand up well if I burn your damn house down, but you know. Yeah.
Allie's in charge of fancy candles around these parts.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are. Yeah, So those are probably about 20 minutes a mission. So,
Good job, Colonel.
Thank you, sir.
Great mission.
Way to go, sir. Outstanding.
it would be cool though. We should. I'm gonna actually make a note. We should try to see if we can compare the two.
Yeah, I would love to figure out how to extract the models from this version because they're very interesting. That's one for AD to try to figure out.
Yeah, because
Looks like perhaps no conversations.
We double check for you. Just
well,
no, you shouldn't have any.
Okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. The PC doesn't have any.
Got it. All right, let's do our third briefing.
Colonel. Now that we've got the Behemoth repaired, we got a few her up, and believe me.
Oh, this is an interesting one on the 302.
Intel is informed.
We're gonna see the tanker.
Convoy is starting
Oh, okay, because this is the one where it's disabled. Okay.
Yeah, this is the tanker.
This is where we're going to top off the Behemoth one.
Of 3 of their tankers. Our fleet will enter the belt through this jump point. The Behemoth will always be about 4 minutes behind you, so that's all the time you'll have to take out whatever the Karathi send your way. You leave immediately.
Sometimes you'll notice that missions have elements of them designed by the scriptwriter that do not actually appear. So clearly they shot that thinking it would be an easy thing to have the Behemoth show up after 4 minutes, and that would be,
Cobra?
That would be part of the mission. But it doesn't actually seem like that. There's not actually a point where you can lose this mission for running out of time. And that's sort of both the danger of locking things down in full motion video. Today, if we were doing that, we would very easily I'll take the arrow, why not? We would very easily go back and say, okay, well, we'll just edit the briefing because we can rework the characters, we can overdub this or whatever. But you couldn't do this here. You have that briefing that says that's how it works. So now this mission has this fantasy element over it. And that's even more of a concern when you have these different ports where the missions will have to work differently because there's different levels of complexity, different engines. It's an interesting way to think about this stuff.
Yeah, because you normally, from our perspective as kid, we're like, well, I should just do all these things because that's how stuff works, right?
Captain Eisen said you'd run out of time, so you will.
Yeah. And you create your own kind of headcanon around these missions where then you kind of, I think sometimes you give yourself that artificial time, and you're like, oh my god, I have to do this over and over again.
On the other hand, you can use exactly the same trick, and intentionally, in things like Wing Commander 1, where you say, oh, you have a discussion about flying in atmospheres, even though it's never going to be a thing in the game, because it builds the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's our asteroid fighter premiere.
Were those just the... Interesting. Say... So, Frost asked, what is the main engine type? I assume something nuclear. Antimatter?
Antimatter for the capital ships. It's fusion for the fighters, I think.
Yeah, because they have to run off some type. They need helium or some type of fuel. Typically in capital.
Give the word.
And then so what are jump drives? What are they?
Jump drives are based on anti-gravitons. There's actually an excellent, complete guide to how jumps work. It's in the Bible, and it was published in the Confederation Handbook. That does come up with a pseudoscientific explanation for how jump drives work and why.
Yeah.
But basically, anti-gravitons, which pull to space, points in space, which are particles that exist everywhere but are constantly pulled towards these jump points in space, and they can carry a ship through. So imagine sitting on a bed of these anti-gravitons at all times, and they're all slightly moving towards jump points. and you can locate jump points by tracking them back to where they're disappearing, and you can carry your ship on the bed of these anti-gravitons, or the overall sense of it. The Children's Guide to Jump Physics in Conversion Handbook explains it better than I possibly can. So really interesting thing right here at this mission right now are these tankers, which to everybody here probably look like the standard Wing Commander 3 transports, but this is how Wing Commander 3 was originally intended, with those ships only appearing in this mission as a special thing. You know, every other 3DO mission we've flown, we've seen those triangle transports. So, a rare look at how it was intended. This is a case of the port doing something the PC-1 wanted to, but ended up having to cut.
We could do a jump drive. We could do a physics lesson one day.
We absolutely should. We should have Dr. Clyde for it, though. We should have Dr. Clyde to teach jump physics.
Nope.
Or at least we should teach jump physics. We should get like lab coats and science speakers, and then at the end he can be. And look, the behemoth does arrive in this version.
Oh shit! And I love
after all that talk.
Well, how funny would it be like you have failed because it's taken longer than 4 minutes. Yeah, we could do that. We could definitely do that. And if anyone's curious, because I can't put a link into the YouTube because someone has to give me admin privileges still. But it's wcnews.com/archives. And the only way you can miss the link to download the Wing Commander Bible is if you are It's in giant text in yellow right at the top of the page. Wow, that was 2004.
You can also get the Confederation Handbook version at Pix's Origin Adventures, which has a fantastic book library.
The old CIC. Making you work for this fuel.
Yeah.
They're making you work. But yeah, we could do a science. We should do a complete science episode.
Yeah.
Where we do a science. Where every bit of science we get will become.
We can have a recurring bit where we talk about
technobabble,
how different guns work and so on.
Yes, it's a mass driver. It drives mass. Next, please. Yeah, that deserves a sigh. Because what the hell? Why is this motion? Oh! Good thing those don't matter. Good thing those don't matter because we're decapitated.
My Kappa has been tated.
Hey, this is a family program. Oh, /archives. That's right. I said wcnews.com/archives. Gotcha. I understand. Look at that. It does. It definitely looks like a trailer cable plug. I almost wonder if that's what they based that on.
You know what? It looks kind of like is a lightsaber base.
That okay? Yeah, I can see it with the different textures. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because actually the thing.
Autopilot offline. Hazards detected.
Okay.
Bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Need clearance, TCS Victory.
Hey, Colonel. Alkalar side never thought
I'm proud of myself for remembering those controls.
Yeah, so something like that. Like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. That's that weird.
He took his headset off too.
love that guy. Guys, I was so amazed. I saw a spaceship right in front of me and not kill me because I have these purple things.
If the internet knew about him, he'd be a meme.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he definitely would. Because it's just funny, like, so clearly they gave him like one take. Look at you, two back to back.
Great mission.
Every week
Way to
comes
go,
hang
sir.
out.
Outstanding.
Look at that.
I think it's like that on the PC too.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is. Yeah, no, that guy, like, clearly he only got one take, and it's surprise face. Yeah, that's the pic you send your Wing Commander lady friend. This is classified.
By the way, I want to use Kilrathi OS so badly. What is that aspect ratio? 16 by 7 by 4 by 3 by 7? Oh, there's the original number. It was 8. It was either 8 or 10.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. 'Cause it's the right. Yeah, it's the right model.
Yeah,
Which,
it's
okay, interesting. I guess they just like bright because I mean, well, the ring in the front isn't there. It's that. Okay, so they exaggerated the bumps from that one. Interesting. Yeah, we should definitely compare that. But it doesn't have the front ring. It has like there's a different red thing there they've kind of popped out.
And that is it for Wing Commander 3 for the 3DO for this week.
Yeah.
Which means it's also it for our show. We tried to keep it shorter, and we have to some degree.
You said you wanted under 2 hours.
How many hours has it been?
1 hour, 50 minutes, and 30 seconds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
so we've hit it.
Hooray. So we're glad to be back. Thanks to everybody for coming out. We have an excellent year planned. There's going to be all sorts of Wing Commander nonsense going forward. You're all welcome to be part of any of it.
Yes, we're going to bring more fans in
we want you guys here.
We're better at... Yes, yeah. we need our audience with us.
But, yeah, with that, I think we're very, very eager to go see the premiere of Picard. So I will leave you with Dr. Clyde. See you next week, guys.
Hi, I'm Dr. Clyde Burrows from the Omnicron Institute. If you've never been to outer space, I bet there's one question at the forefront of your mind. What does it smell like? Well, the answer may surprise you. You see... what? Picard is streaming now? I'm sorry, something has come up. I will see you on the next exciting episode of All Wings Considered.